Coach, if you would, just recap last week's game.
Sure. I think coming off an open date, and we discussed this, what is the mindset and how do you approach an open date, and then of course coming off a tough loss, what was our mindset like? And I think one of the biggest things we talked about was, number one, we needed to get healthy, and by Wednesday I think we were down about 14 guys that were kind of bunged up and banged up, and so we want to accomplish two things. We want to get those guys back healthy, and at the same time get better fundamentally, and I think we accomplished that. Now the proof is going to kind of be in the pudding based on how we played, but I think to go on the road, playing Tennessee Tech for their homecoming, which was obviously a big deal to them, and seeing our guys really respond and play well, really in all three phases. I think all three phases played well. Just starting with our defense, we had a great defensive effort. Really harassed the quarterback, got after him, pressured him, had some sacks, played well in the secondary, did a good job against the run game, and really probably one of our best, if not best, defensive efforts all year. Offensively, we did the things we needed to do, had a good start. Eli Jenkins came out at quarterback, played real well for us. Got hurt, got injured, and Kyle West came in and really did a good job in taking his place. We ran the ball. And probably, going into the third quarter, I might have put the brakes on them a little bit just because we were playing real well defensively. And we kind of opened it back up in the fourth quarter. Got another couple of scores and I guess a field goal. But overall, very good. Special teams was really good. We knew this was a big game for the special teams. They do a good job of special teams really, and had the real good punter, Hamish McInnes. Obviously had the school record punt, and special teams really had a great game. I think we hit every goal we had, maybe not one, but so all in all, just a great trip for us. Really good to get that W, and then coming off the open date where we got a little bit of rest and continuing and on that road for the next 4 weeks.
Coach Clark, I know you're playing a team that hadn't won a game yet this year, but I don't think they have maybe as bad as the record shows. What are the things that you've seen that they've been able to hang their hat on?
Right. I think that's a good question. Number one, I think we're seeing people out there. If you just look at the landscape of college football, people are giving up 70 points. They're giving up 60 and 70 points and just getting drilled. You don't see that out of this team. It was a 35-14 game against a good UT Martin team. They had a running back rush for over 120 yards. They were down there in the red zone a couple times with a chance of scoring. They just didn't. These are not just massive blowouts. And I think, a lot of that attribute, you got a new coach. These are guys that are trying to impress him. They got really big offensive linemen, and they're doing the things that they do well. They're getting up on people. They're blocking them. They got a good, Phillips, the tailback, and Williams, who rushed for 120. These are guys as good a guys as we've seen all year. They've got a 6'6" receiver. I just don't see this horrible team that just a bad record indicates. But you got a new coach. He's establishing his philosophy. They're a solid defense. They make you earn what you get. So I just don't see that. I know their record says one thing, but I don't see that, and I don't think our guys will see that either.
If I read into them right, in a sense they're kind of they're in a boat kind of like you are, and I'm talking about reserves coming in and playing well. They're down to their third quarterback. He played well last week. They had some backup running back come in and run for 140, 50 some odd yards.
Whatever that was.
When you've seen that on film, how aware do you have to be that their reserves might be pretty good getting thrown into opportunities like some of your backup guys have done for you?
Well, I'll be real honest. I think that their tailback, Phillips, we thought he was as good as we will see. I'm talking about next week. He's as good as we've seen. I compare him to our guys. And then all of a sudden, you get to see their backups, and they're all hitting the hole. But what they do, like I said, they're taking what they've got, which is a good up front unit with good size. When they've got a 6'8" tackle, they're big up front, and they just get bodies on bodies, and their backs hit. I've seen bad teams. I've seen teams that don't take snaps, or these guys have lined up against Tennessee. They've lined up against Vanderbilt. They're not going to be scared of us. They're not intimidated. You don't see any of that. They probably hadn't thrown the ball as well as they'd like, but then 12 came in. Mitchell came in, threw the ball well. He can run. He ran around. So I don't see that. And then of course on the other side of the ball, defensively, I just see them solid. They get lined up right. They tackle. They make you work the ball down the field. So you just don't see it. But they I think I was looking at our schedule. Right now we've got like the 5th toughest schedule in the nation. I think they're 2nd. So I knew we had a pretty tough schedule, but right now they've got us ranked 5th, but they're 2nd. So it's not like they played an easy schedule. Maybe if they played some different teams, they might have them a win or two. So and of course confidence with a new coach and a new team, a win a lot of times breeds another win, and a loss sometimes breeds another loss. So we need to get ready to play.
Chris, how do you? I know the coaches keep your heads into the week that you're playing, but you played a lot of football, played against some real good teams, played against some teams that struggle. How do you keep from becoming complacent or overlooking these people that you're playing this week because they're 0 and whatever, and they're like ranked at the bottom of the country in almost every major category?
It comes from just staying focused and knowing what you have to do as a team and what you set your goals out to be. You can't play down to anyone else's level, and Coach Clark does a great job of keeping us working hard every day at practice. Shorts and helmet, pads, it don't matter. We work hard every day.
When you see this week that these are what was your immediate reaction at all to when you see anything on Austin Peay, when you see that where they fall nationally or where that their record is? What do you, as much as you want to stay focused on it, does your mind wander at all, and do you think, hey, this is who these people are? What do you think?
Can't pay attention to that because any Saturday, anything can happen. Big plays can happen, so you just got to stay focused and work hard.
Do you remember playing any teams like this while you were growing up, or before you got here, that were that way, and how you had to fight through some of that emotional?
I remember playoffs from my junior year. We played at Lochapoka High School, and we kind of overlooked them, and they ended up beating us that game.
And that's a good lesson to hark back on. And then I just wanted to ask you 2 other things. Just what is it that's made your pass rush so good? You got a ton of sacks, and you have a ton of sacks. What is it that either what you do or how things are going that has made it so good this year?
The defensive scheme that we're in, it helps the defensive ends out a lot. Having the linebackers add on, and our DBs, they cover real well. So quarterbacks looking around a lot. So we have a lot of time to get to them.
And I think Barry told me Saturday that you just tried to keep that guy on the run all day long. Wherever he went, you went and chased him down until you got him. Is that kind of what the approach was last weekend?
We always strive on pressuring the quarterback anytime, any way we can affect the quarterback.
And I guess lastly, what were your expectations coming here from coming from the big school to this level, and obviously getting an opportunity to play? But
my high school coach, he knew Coach Clark real well, and he told me that I would love playing for Coach Clark because Coach Clark is going to coach me hard, and I just wanted to come somewhere where I had the opportunity to win and play for a good coach.
Are you meeting your expectations? Is this meeting your expectations?
Yes, sir. I still want to continue to get better and continue to work harder.
And the neat thing, I think, is the guys in that rush package are all basically young guys. I think Barry's the oldest guy you got, and you and Wood are new, and Caleb's coming. Just how good can this be going forward? Have you kind of given that any thought yet? Or when you get older, how good it can be if it's this good now?
Yes, sir. With the summer and spring workouts, we can only continue to get better as long as we work hard, and I know Coach Clark will keep us working hard all the time.
Coach, if you just talk a little about Chris, what he brings.
Well, I think, obviously coming from a great program like Chris did in high school, Sweetwater, and playing for a great head coach and Coach Luger. Coach Luger and I got to coach in two all-star games together. Alabama, Mississippi is just not to get off on that too much, but it's really a chance for high school coaches to really become friends and bond in a competitive situation. So I knew what kind of coach he was, so I knew what kind of players he was going to produce. And, of course, this guy's the player of the year, and, he played fullback, he played defensive end, and, so we knew we had us an athlete, but the thing I loved hearing was what kind of competitor he was and what kind of person he is. And that's what we've seen. This is a guy that comes with a smile on his face, comes to work every day, works his tail off, makes people around him better. It's just a good person. And, that's not just saying because he's standing here or sitting here with me. And so when we had an opportunity to get him, it was just, it was a big deal to us to get a guy that came from a program where they expect to win. And that's what he's brought to us, and we've seen nothing but good since he's been here. We're definitely glad to have him.
Coach Clark, it's interesting when you put the dynamics of what the position of Chris plays and what your defensive line does. You've talked about a lot of your kids this year about how they come to work, smile on their face,
right.
Really good attitudes. Is it intrigue you, amaze you? I don't know what the verb would be, but they happy folks while they're in these circumstances, then they get on the field and they just turn,
Yep.
360 aggressive. I mean, that's
and we talk about that. I think there's and we talk about how we're going to coach him. It's the same mentality that when I see Chris walking these halls, I'm going to ask him about his family. How's the school going? I mean, all the things that you would expect just, out of us seeing each other in this room, but when we get between those lines, it's business. And what goes with that is me coaching. We talk to our players all the time that if we're not coaching your tail off, you ought to be mad at us because we're doing you a disservice. Now, we think there's a way to do that. We're going to get after them. We're going to do it in the right way. But I think the right guys, the competitors we want, the guys that expect to win, they expect that. And they would be disappointed in any other way. And so that's kind of that switch. You made a good, that's the statement. When they walk between those lines, it's just, and he's especially at a point where he's playing 6'6" and 6'7" O-linemen that going, as we say, they're going to grab you now. They're going to hold you. And so you've got to be aggressive and you've got to be able to turn that switch on. And hey, when we walk off that field, it's different, but that's what it takes, especially at the position he's in.
Does it amaze you how you can have two different kind of personalities like that? How do you turn it on that way when you're playing compared to when you're off the field like that?
It's just, for me, it's the passion in it. And off the field, it's a different person, happy, jolly. On the field, I'm happy and jolly too, but it's just get after it, work hard mentality.
You take on a different personality when you're playing. Some guys may play up to that, like, whatever some of the NFL guys say that they are when they play as opposed to how they are when they're not on the field.
No, so it's still having fun for me. It's just going out there and having fun and doing what I've been coached to do and trusting it.
Like Spider-Man, like Rashad or Megatron. He gets on the field, he's Megatron. You got any of that kind of stuff in you?
No, sir.
Do the sack numbers impress you? What your team's done this year?
Yes, sir.
How much so?
It's just knowing that we worked so hard all summer to pressure the quarterback and to see it pay off. It's just it just feels good.